Thank you for allowing us to present here today at this tremendous conference. We've been working in KSA now for 2 years and have recently had a number of significant advances. It's a big part of our global world, and I wanted to share today some of those advances with you as we move forward to consolidate our position here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Firstly, about us, Square Robot designs, builds robots that do inspections online in above-ground storage tanks. While we talk a lot about robots, the reality is that our product is data. So it's all about the data that we acquire and what we do with this data with our customers. We'll talk more about that. The big advantage of the services that we provide is it keeps your tank working and online while we do the inspection. It eliminates the need to take the tank out of service. It's working. It also eliminates the need to put people into a dangerous working environment. It contains the carbon, eliminates emissions from your tank that's typical when you take a tank offline. It also provides a large data set, allowing you to optimize the management of your asset. And not only the individual asset, but it improves your knowledge of the fleet of tanks that you have. A bit of our history, we started back in 2016. We first encountered work with SABIC in 2021 when we did our first 2 tanks with SABIC in the USA. And then since that time, we've done some 23 tanks in the GCC region. We're through the startup valley of death. You know, introducing new technology is tough in any environment, and over the last number of years, we've gone through a process of introducing the technology, proving out the technology, and this year we expect to do over 200 tanks. To date, we've done over 300 tanks now. And our presence in the GCC, and particularly in Saudi, is disproportionately high. We see it as a huge area of growth for us, as the take-up of the technology, the understanding of the technology, and the value that we can deliver through this is disproportionate, and I think to be commended. Middle East, as I said, we started in 2021. Last year, we did a lot of work, particularly with SABIC, and went through a process of approval within the SABIC organisation that I'll discuss further. The benefit of what we bring, as I said, is not only in providing an inspection, but it's also eliminating the need to put people into a dangerous environment. This is going into the thousands and hundreds of thousands of eliminated unsafe work environment hours. It's reducing the carbon emissions, but it's very much improving the efficiency of operations. Within the Middle East, we've done some 100 tanks, and about 50% of those we've done some 22 tanks. 50% of those are water. The other 50% are hydrocarbon, various stages, including chemical. We went through a long process with SABIC. This was an extremely good process for us, albeit expensive and timely. I was very interested to hear Professor Jamal say earlier that he sees SABIC and other companies of that scale as global leaders in their field. I would echo that personally. I think we learnt a lot going through what was a very robust and rigorous approval process with SABIC that lasted some 9 months. It required a lot of work within our workshop, within our lab, was very exacting, very demanding. We're introducing a new service to the world, and we're still learning about how we operate our service, what we see in the data, and what value we can provide to our customers. And because of the robustness of this process, we learnt a lot. We did multiple different experiments with particularly the phased array UT in different operating environments, detecting different indications on base metal, on coated metal. It was a very robust service, and we passed. It was extremely successful in terms of proving up of the technology. But I think, apart from getting a pass, which is always good, you know, when you're a student, you always want to pass. But I think what we gained more was we learnt more about where we could apply the service, the environments that it could operate effectively in, and how to best operate the service to get maximum value from what we do. So this has been approved. We're now also approved with Aramco, and we've just completed our first tank with Aramco, and also in GCC we've worked in Kuwait and Abu Dhabi. We now have a permanent presence here with our headquarters in Saudi Arabia for the region, and my colleague Matt Christ, who is manning the booth with me, is now located permanently here. Matt was previously our chief inspector and vice president of operations in Houston. He has relocated. He's the good-looking guy over there. In case anyone's got any questions, he paid me to say that. So, case study of the repeatability and the value that we bring. In 2023, we did a partial inspection of a water tank for SABIC, and subsequently in 2025, we went back to do a full inspection. We found that there was great repeatability. We found the indications that we'd previously found, plus we saw the advancing of some corrosion in specific points. And so this was really the field proof of what we'd been through in our acceptance and the process of accepting the robustness of the measurement and the service that we provide to the industry. But it's all about the data. It's not about the robot. And I think with growing data sets and advanced statistical analysis, we're providing the opportunity to learn more about the service of the tanks in question, looking more across the fleet of assets rather than at individual assets. I think rather than having time-based interventions, there'll be more of knowledge-based interventions, and I believe this will lead to the more appropriate application of resources, be it money or people, to the assets that could do with intervention earlier, rather than dealing and intervening on assets that are actually quite fine. One of the things that we hear quite a bit is people are taking tanks out of service on a time base. Many customers have done the analysis here, and they believe that 7 out of 8 times tanks are coming out of service without need for real intervention. Often there is repair work done during that time, but it's really done because they have a tank out of service, not because there is an immediate need for that intervention. So information-backed, data-backed intervention, I think, will yield a lot of value. We're also seeing, and there's been a consistent part of the discussion here, is that artificial intelligence, machine learning tools will really enhance and magnify the use of the data that we're acquiring. And we're going down that road. A big part of what we do, yes, is about the robots, but it's more and more about what greater value can we deliver from the data that we're collecting for our customers. So the impact for today, there's a major impact on unnecessary tank outage. It means that you improve your utilisation, you can effectively store more product with less number of tanks. I think it's a major improvement in the focus of your spend and of your asset allocation, of your resource allocation, and the work that you're doing. I think it restricts having to put people into confined spaces. There was a great discussion earlier about health and safety and the mitigating factors. I was really interested in talking and the parallel with road safety and how road safety been tremendously improved here in the Kingdom. This is fundamental to having safety of our people, is to not put them into a dangerous work environment. Where a robot can go, people don't need to go. It also reduces our carbon emissions, and again, that is very much in line with the drive forward here in the Kingdom and in the world. I think for the future, we continue to develop new capabilities, new robots. One of the learning we had from our original campaign here in Saudi was our temperature limitation of our robot was at 40 degrees, which limited our use, particularly here in the summer, as everyone will well know. So we have gone back, and the engineers have developed, as a result of our operations with SABIC, a new robot. We have the new robot already built, and it will operate up to 60 degrees. So that robot has been completed. It's now ready to go into its first job. So if anyone has got a tank that's ready for a higher temperature operation, we have the robot, and the engineers are very keen to see it working. But I think more than just the development of the technology, the hardware, is the software. And I think these data sets, coupled with the statistical analysis and the modelling, I think is going to reveal a lot more value for our customers. And I think the application of this data across whole fleets of assets is going to be extremely important. I think robotic intervention into tanks won't be just to look at the state of the tank. It will also be capable of intervening to clean tanks, which we're starting down that road. But more importantly, to keep tanks in optimal condition, never having to take a tank out of service is our ultimate goal. So to be not have to intervene on a timely basis to keep a tank clean. I often say carpets aren't cleaned every 10 years. Carpets are cleaned regularly to keep them pristine and in good condition to do their job. Tanks should be kept in optimal condition so that they can do their job, which is to store product. And I think robotics and particularly the drive in volume, and which drives costs down, will mean robotics can be there to keep your tanks in optimal condition and be predictive of any change in the condition of the tank, so that we can preempt real damage by the necessary intervention and treatment, be that in recoating while the tank is in service, or even more dramatic things like application of welding techniques that can be done or are currently done in a subsea environment. We could easily do them in a tank environment, and this is, for me, the direction of travel. So we really appreciate the support that we've been given in Saudi Arabia, and we're looking forward to a very exciting future, and appreciate the support and the invitation to present this morning. Thank you very much.